What's up, guys? Welcome back to another tier list. So I made a tier list a few months ago. A lot of people disagreed, and now looking back at it, I think I would change a lot of things on it. Plus, I want to change the way I explain, what my things mean. Because whenever I pick C and I put like Cav and C or whatever, people got really offended. People, especially lower ranks, they got really offended because Cav is so good down there. But overall, I just wanted to show what each rank means to me, and that it's not always a ranked like a report card. It's not A and F. It's just, there's meta ops, there's must pick ops, there's broken ops, of course. And then there's just ops that are straight up useless. Just because I put one in rare pick doesn't mean he's a bad operator. Doesn't mean you can play him really good or her really good. But for the most part, they fall under a similar path. And usually if they're a rare pick, they're not as good as a guy that's a must pick, of course. But it doesn't mean you can't make that operator extremely good if you know how to use him or her right. So I want to just go straight into it. I like going faster on these because I know a lot of people explain their picks a little bit too much, and I just want to start with broken operators. And I really made this for two operators in specific in the current state, and this is Clash, who they just can't get right. They can't ever fix Clash. It's been broken forever, and I don't think they're ever going to be able to fix Clash. And at some point, you just got to either completely rework her, change her shield entirely, or just take her out of the game. Right now, it's so broken how you can literally just run up and shock someone to death without them being able to plant the bomb, without them being able to fight you. There's just no way around Clash without some utility like stun grenades or something. But say you're in a 1v1 with Clash, there's just no way to win that unless if you have some serious utility on you. If you just have a normal gun, then you are pretty much screwed. And then I made this as well for Ying. She has too many throwables. It's kind of insane. It's just ridiculous how many throwables she has. By adding smoke grenades to her, definitely screwed it up a little bit, because now she has those 2 throwables plus the 3 of her actual gadget. Luckily, I think they took away one of them. They moved it up to 4 of her gadgets, but then now they brought her down to 3. I think 4 was just insane. You could burn through every single ADS while blinding everyone. I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to make Warden's pick rate higher, but it was not making anyone happy. So they took that down to 3, and I think they kept it at that. But correct me if I'm wrong, but they should keep it at 3 for sure. Smoke grenades are even insane too, because you still have 5 throwables, plus the Ying can blow through Jaeger, whatever. Moving on from there, we're gonna go in order. I'm not gonna do it from must picks down. I'm just gonna start with Alibi, Amaru, Ash, just keep going down the list. And we're gonna start with Alibi, who I think is definitely more of a rare pick. It's not one of those essential picks. I do think, however, her gun is very good, and if you use her correctly, I've had times where, especially on Consulate, where they put their Alibis, replicator things, on all the windows, right? And then they peek right behind them, and I've died from that a few times now, and that's why I say it's a rare pick, but it's also a very good pick if you know places to use Alibi. And that is just one example on Consulate. Now I'm going to move on to Amaru, who I would just deem as useless. It just does not work because it breaks the glass and breaks the barricade completely before. So it's like 3 seconds before. So it gives the defenders time to set up completely before you even hop into the window. So there isn't really an advantage to it. I think that needs a little bit of a rework. So we'll see what they do with Amaru. I think they should just make it so it destroys right on impact with your body. So it could be more of a surprise factor. And maybe that'll make it more of a rare pick. But for me right now, it is useless. Ash with her speed will always be either good or just a meta op, but I'm going to put her under meta. My total explanation of meta is, it doesn't mean that it's only good in the meta, but it has been the meta, right? So a thermite is an example of an operator that has always been the meta because you always need to get hard breaches. So those are some operators that will be in meta. Must pick is more of like overpowered operators and or just really good operators that haven't always been the best, is what I'm saying. But ops like Ash, she's always been good. It's just that Ash has been kind of falling down tiers as she lost ACOG. Her ADS time is pretty slow, but she still has that tiny hitbox that everyone loves. So Ash meta op. Same thing goes for Bandit. Could be I mean, some sites you're going to need him always, so it will be a must pick in some situations, but for this, I'm just going to put him as a meta operator. He's always been that guy to, you know, just destroy thermites, and bandit tricking is obviously very powerful, so this one doesn't need too much explaining, but meta op here. Blackbeard, I think that should be a rare pick for anyone. I wouldn't consider him very good, and it gets you in really bad habits with the shield in front of your face. I don't use him at all, but if I were to use him, it would be whenever I'm having a terrible game and I just need that shield in front of my face. I don't know, maybe my reaction time is terrible right now, but that is the only time I would use Blackbeard. Other than that, I just think it's a cheap operator to use, having that shield in front of your face, and it's just annoying, and I think it should be rare pick at most. This is probably the first one that some people might disagree with me, but I'm going to put Blitz as useless. I just don't think he's that good, especially in the Ying meta, since you could just use Ying and have the flashes and actually have a gun. With Blitz, you need some serious skill to be able to pull off the pistols. I think shields are kind of tough, and I would honestly pick Montaigne any day of the week because you have that full coverage, plus you can support the team better instead of just rushing in with Blitz, blinding people, maybe getting a kill, and then just dying off. So I just put him as useless. I could see where you could disagree and say he's a rare pick or good situationally, but for me, I can't respect Blitz at all. Buck did lose his nades in the latest patch, but I think he is still a must pick for most teams. You're going to need vertical play, and Buck, I think, is better than Sledge with vertical play because he can go both up and down, since Sledge can only look down on stuff because the sledgehammer can't hit the roof, obviously, so, or the ceiling, I guess. And Buck can shoot whichever way, plus has range and doesn't have to be completely over it whenever he is doing his thing. It's just he does not have the nades, but I don't think that really brings him down any. He's still a must-pick operator. Caboteur right now, I think he's a meta operator. Very good gun and very underrated gadget and utility. That fire is absolutely overpowered in anything really. It's just he is a meta operator because he's not always good. They could easily change something and nerf him, and he would easily drop way down if they take one of his fires away or take one of something away. You know, he could easily drop down very quickly. That's why I'm going to keep him at meta. He's not a must pick by any means, but he can be super good, especially in Pro League. Castle is good situationally, but he is more of a rare pick than anything. I think he would fall in between these two if there was one. He's good, but rare and very situational, if that makes sense. But I'm going to put him in rare pick because he should rarely be picked in ranked specifically. I could see if you have strats with full teams how good he can be, but he's a rare pick for me. Same thing goes for Cav. Cav can be very good in ranked when people aren't communicating, but once you get higher leveled and play 5 stacks, or if you're playing comp, he's absolutely useless. So he could be a rare pick, but nothing higher than that. Anyone can play Cav good. I'm not saying he's bad, or she is bad, but very rare pick. Doc, unfortunately, everyone's saying he's going to lose the ACOGs, go to a 2-speed, 2 armor. I would be very disappointed, but until then, I will put him high and proud in meta operator. Those ACOGs plus the Doc stim is just so much better than Rook is currently. I think if that drop actually does happen, or if that nerf actually does happen to Doc, Rook is going to be played way more, and that might actually balance stuff out. I just don't think it's smart to make him a 2-speed, 2 armor. Maybe just take away one of the ACOGs on the MP5 and give it to the P90, which is, in my opinion, the worst gun out of the two. Maybe that would help, instead of making him just not have an ACOG and a 2-speed, just completely changing him in general, and probably make him unplayable, honestly. There's just so many different operators I'd rather play if he did not have an ACOG. On defense, ACOGs are very valuable. So for now, he's a meta operator, but with a nerf, he will be dropping down by far. If he gets the nerf that they're saying, he will be a very rare pick if that's the case. DokaB has been broken before. She has been a must pick before. She's been everywhere. But at this point, I'm just going to put her under I think either one of these two. A lot of these operators have been either one of these two, but I think it's a rare pick now. She doesn't have the nades anymore. She did have the nades, but I think if she did have the nades, she would be able to be used in more different ways. But for now, it's a pretty situational and rare pick for me. I do think that gadget is very powerful. It's very toxic as well if you match them with the right things. If you have you have this Finca and a bunch of other operators like that, you're still going to be pretty toxic. But rare pick here. Eiko has been a must pick forever, or for a while, I guess. Just because of the sheer fact that he can completely deny plants and does it better than anyone else, because you could just be sitting in a corner and have complete control of sight without your body being anywhere near it. So been a must pick and a must ban for a while. You probably see Eiko getting banned quite a lot, and that's just how it is. Ella, I might be showing a little bit of bias here, but I think she is very good, but it's very situational, and you actually have to practice with the Scorpion Evo. The Scorpion's a tough gun to get the hang of, but you can get the hang of it for sure. I see a lot of different combos here with the Ella's gun, but I like to use a holographic sight, and it works out just fine as long as you just learn how and when you should be playing Ella and what ranges to play Ella. So good situationally here. Finca she has a really good gun. I'll give you that much, but from an overall meta standpoint, she's very useless. Same thing goes for some other operators here that are very similar to her. Very good gun, but not the best for the meta. It just does not last very long. It's good for rushing, so it's a very rare pick, but most of the time it's just useless. So that's where I'm going to put her. No, I'm not saying anything about her gun because it's a very good gun, but that's where I got to put her there. Frost. Frost has a good gun as well. I think she's a very rare pick, and on very rare sites, you can get some kills with the Frost mats and actually be useful to the team. But her role is pretty undefined. I see a lot of people, just shallow roaming, and some people are just anchoring. So who knows what Frost's true role is? I think she's more of an anchor somewhere around site, but it just takes specific sites to actually be good, since these frost mats need to be placed in spots where people will actually go to actually get some kills and help the team. And now Fuse, I know you can get a lot of kills with it. I don't even think it's a rare pick, though. I think it's useless right now. With how Wamai and Jaeger are being played, both of them are being played usually on every single defensive round. So whenever that's happening, Fuse is just useless, honestly. There's nothing Fuse can do. It's just going to get destroyed. I think they need to make it a throwable cluster and make it more like impact grenade damage dealt, and maybe that'll help. I don't think what they're saying about making it be able to go through reinforced walls is a good idea. I think that's a terrible idea, but we'll see what they do. If they can fix him up, he'll be a rare pick, but I don't think he'll ever be a meta operator per se, unless if they make him overpowered. Glass has been through her stages as well, must pick down, 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 and has tinkered all the way down to useless. Unfortunately, it's just hard to, I think they just gave up on Glass in general. They had a good idea with the thermal, but now it's just like you have to be standing still for a certain amount of time, and it's just unsure, really. Uncertainty with how to play Glass, and I think Callie would be the better option whenever you're trying to snipe anyways, because she actually has a gadget that is more useful. So that's where I'm going to put Glass. I could see if you disagree with that, if you are good with him, but I for sure think he is useless, especially in higher ranks. Goyo, I think at one point he was meta, but I think now he's just good situationally. He only has the 2 shields. He has the Vector and the TSG shotgun thing, but that has been nerfed. So has everything on him been nerfed, and he could easily, go up again if they added. He could go way up here if they added another shield back. But Pro League is just too annoying with so many shields. This guy is the absolute utility killer. So people can waste so many nades, Ash charges, Zophias, whatever on this, and if you work these cohesively with Jaegers, then obviously it can be very good, and that is, I have a whole video on Goyo because of that. I'm gonna start going a little faster now. Gridlock, I think he's a rare pick, or she is a rare pick, because There's just better operators that do the same role, such as Nomad, wherever he is or she is. I'm going to grab her right here just to show you. I think she is a must pick, especially if you are a solo queue. It watches your flank and lets you be able to frag out as well. Gridlock is great at watching flank and hearing flank rather, because you throw that thing and they have to shoot it. But I think overall Nomad is way better, the way better choice whenever you're picking between Gridlock and Nomad. Not saying Gridlock's bad, but I think Nomad is the better of the two. Hibana falls in right where Thermite will fall in. I'm going to put them both together real quick. These are two operators that are meta operators. They've always been, ever since both of them got into the game. They both have their place, really. I mean, Thermite's better for big walls, and Hibana's usually better for hatches since you don't have to be right on top of it. So these two are meta operators. They'll probably always be a part of the meta since they are the only two that can get hard surfaces alongside Maverick, of course. Janna and orcs, I'm still unsure on where they need to be. I think Janna right now is good situationally, while orcs, wherever he went, where is orcs at? Here's orcs. I think he is useless, honestly. I think he shouldn't take so much damage when making rotations. If he didn't take damage, I think he would be way higher overall, and just overall way better. But right now he takes damage, 10 damage every time he goes through a wall. But if he didn't do that and was able to maybe take no damage, then they would pick him more often because he would be better for rotation holes, and alongside of that he could roam. He has a good gun, I'll give him that, but I just think he's useless right now. Janna though is good situationally because it is a very situational gadget. If you have a team though, it could be very good. I think in Pro League that's what's going to really show how good Janna is. Hopefully they use her the right way and bait off the Jannas, the replicators. Hopefully they do it the right way. We'll see what they do in Pro League coming up in the next few weeks or month or so, but hopefully they use her right and give her the credit she deserves. But she's just good situationally for now. IQ, with how many gadgets everyone has, she is meta right now. She's definitely meta. She might even be must pick with how many gadgets there are, especially Valk cams, all this stuff. She can absolutely do it all, and it doesn't hurt that she has the G8A1, which is a absolute beam of a gun, basically Ash's gun on fire rate and everything, but it has a 51 round mag, and you could also equip a ACOG to it. Jackal is a must pick and a must ban for most teams because he can actually roam clear better than anyone. He is so good at roam clearing, and that's why he's banned so often, because it's just, they need to, I don't know what they need to do to him, but they gotta tune it down, maybe give him less scans or something, because it is absolutely so annoying to be scanned by Jackal and have to run back to site or, you know, fight them. So they gotta work on the pinging of it, but I think he's a good operator overall, and right now he's a must pick. Jaeger, before going down to a 2-speed, was a must pick, but I'm going to put him at meta just because he's still very good with being able to, you know, have the ADSs and stuff and still being okay at roaming. But the lean speed now is just not where it's at. It's just not it. And plus he's louder, so he's just not as good as a roamer anymore. And I don't think he's a must pick since Wamai is here now. So I think they both fall under the meta operator. I think this nerf, what it did is brought really a lot of attention to Wamai, and I really appreciate that because I started playing Wamai a lot since then. And I think Wamai is better whenever you're trying to play more anchory, and Jaeger is better if you are trying to roam. They both play a similar role with gadgets wise, but that is how I would play the two. Cade is a situationally good is what I would say, because he is very good at getting hatches, while Bandit's probably better at walls since you're able to bandit trick. Cade tricking's a thing, but it's just not the same. It does not hit the same. And I think Cade is really good for hatches, so good situationally, good weapons. Nothing against Cade, but I just don't think he's a meta operator in this state. Callie's a rare pick for me, but I'm putting them at useless still. I think the two snipers together can just sit here at useless because I just don't think it's as good. Because Callie, the problem with Callie is the time to kill. So if you don't get a headshot, you get a body shot, they down, and then you have to cock back your weapon, right? The cock back gives the the defender enough time to crawl away. So most of the time you aren't even able to finish your kills unless you pull out your secondary weapon. So it's just pretty useless. It can be good. I see a lot of people play it on bank, you know, rappelling by the windows, but that's just where I put the snipers. I just think they need to make it a one shot from more. I think a chest shot should be a one shot with a sniper rifle. Kapkan is a rare pick for me. Very good weapons, I think, in my opinion. There's some good weapons on Kapkan, but it's just not that good of an operator. The gadget is just not what it used to be. I think it was better when it had the red laser and insta-killed them just like a claymore would, but more on defense. I think the red laser was a good thing, but now it just takes like 50, I think it's 50 damage from the attacker, and that's really all it does to him. Legion, I think, is still a meta operator. Well, at some point, it was a must pick before they nerfed him down a little bit. I like that he's not played all the time now, but the gun is so good. The gadget is still pretty good. I mean, you can't see, it's not as good for intel anymore as it used to be whenever you were able to see the icon of the Legion, but it's still a good operator. Lion is one that I got a lot of hate on for my last tier list, and that's because I put him in A. But I'll put him in good situationally now, but he's one of the best at roam clearing. Roam clearing is so important, and I just want you guys to know that he is so good at roam clearing because they can't move while you're roam clearing. So you could use the scan and pre-fire, and it's the easiest kill. So good situationally is where I'm going to put it. And then Maestro, the meta operator or a must pick. I would put him in either of these. I'm going to put him in must pick just for now. 81 bullets, very low recoil. Doesn't have the ACOG anymore, but still has a holographic sight, which is honestly what I use anyway, so it's a must pick. This is one of my go-tos, one of my staple operators, plus you're able to do plant denial just like Eiko can. So I'm going to stick them together here because they're both honestly just as good in my book, but Eiko is just a little bit more annoying, and that's why he is banned more than Maestro. Maverick is a meta operator. Probably will always be a meta operator because he goes right between Thermite and Hibana. They work very well together. Personally, I don't really like using Maverick as the only hard breacher. It's just not as good, but it's good for destroying bandits, good for stopping bandit trickers, and that's really where I put him. Plus 3 speed, good weapon, ACOG. A lot of good about him. So I'm just going to move on to Mira now, who is good situationally. She has the very, very powerful vector, the same as Goyo. They both have that vector. I love using that vector, but Mira's only good on some objectives. Some objectives she's not good, so that's why I'm going to say situationally, but the objectives that she is good, she is very good at. So if you know the spots, you can make Mira one of the best operators in the game. Montaigne is a rare pick in my books. Very good operator, but good with a team. This is not like a solo queue operator. This is a team operator, and one that you should use whenever you're either struggling or you have a specific plant strategy or a rush plant or something along those lines. But Montaigne can be very good in certain situations, and I like Montaigne way more in Blitz because it's actually a team player on a team game. Mozzie lost the shotgun, unfortunately. I think they shouldn't have done that. I don't think that was the problem with Mozzie. He has too many pests, and I think I'm going to stick with that until they fix that. I think they should take away one of his pests, give him his shotgun back so he can make rotations. We need more defenders that can make rotation holes, and I think Mozzie was one of those good ones because he was able to roam as well. 2 speed, not overpowered, just a good operator. Same thing goes for Mute. Mute can make rotation holes, but Mute is going to be A as well. I really messed this one up in my previous tier list. I put him at C, but in all reality, I started playing Mute a lot more, and he is a meta operator. Such a good operator in this game, able to completely destroy a defender's or attacker's attack because they can't see where you're coming or where you're sitting, especially your anchors. Can't see where your anchors are sitting at. And put Mozzie and Mute together, and there is just no intel to be had. You have every door basically cut off. You can either jam them or steal them with the pest. Knock is pretty useless in my books. It could be a very rare pick, but for me, yeah, I'm going to put him at rare pick just because the FMG9 is very good, and it can be good. I've seen people use it in higher ranks, and I don't think it's ever really worked because sound isn't everything in this game. This game already doesn't have good sound, so I don't know. I think Cab and Not could just sit down here together. Pulse is a very good operator situationally. Depends on the site, depends on how you're going to play him. You actually have to have a plan to play Pulse, but he can be so good if you know how to play him, and that's really where I'll leave it off. I'm not going to go over the recruits right now, but they are pretty good. I will tell you that. They have good weapons. They have good utility. They have 2 utilities, so they have nades, something that Buck can't relate to, so who knows? You could just slide them right up, but you can't play them in ranked or anything, so, you know, I don't know. Rook right now is a rare pick, but once Doc gets nerfed, they might level out here at good situationally. I think if Doc loses the ACOGs, then Rook is going to be used good situationally because he'll be the best spawn killing operator in the game. Sledge will and always will be a meta operator. He's always been good. I just don't think he's as good as Buck just because of the reason I said before. One can go both ways, right? Up and down, while Sledge can only go down. But he does have the nades, so it's really a toss-up there. They're both really good, extremely good, but I think Buck is better overall, just because of the vertical play is usually why I play any of these, and Buck does that better. Smoke is a must-pick, especially in higher ranks. Entry denial, whatever you want to call it, he is good at that. Plant denial, he's good at that. He has good weapons. You just got to get used to the weapons. The SMG-11 and the shotgun is the way to go. There's also the FMG, which is a very good gun, but you could do whatever one you want. I just prefer the shotgun SMG-11 combo, so I think he's a must pick. Tachanka isn't broken. He's going to get reworked, but I don't think he's broken. He has his purpose, but he is useless. There is very limited times, except if you're memeing, of course, which can be fun, I guess. But spawn peeking with Tachanka, maybe, sure, but he's useless. Thatcher in the current meta, must pick. There's just so much gadgets right now. This will destroy any of them. You don't just have to use this for walls. This is a operator. If it's not banned, pick it and just throw it near the site, and you'll get probably 100 points each time because you can destroy everything. You'll get disabling everything. Just don't throw it into a Jaeger, but you can destroy Jaegers from other sides. It has a great range. You can throw it on a roof, and it'll destroy everything in the inside of the room below. So Thatcher's just insane right now. Is a absolute must pick. And I think another operator that is pretty good is Valkyrie. I'm going to put her at meta, though. Always will be meta, I think, in my books, because the intel. So much intel, so much potential to run out. Just a very good operator, Valkyrie. One of my favorites. That's why I have a whole series on her and camera spots, if you want to check those out. Everyone knows Twitch has one of the best weapons in the game, but I still think it's a rare pick because you need a lot more on attacking than just a good weapon. But, you know, a very good weapon with the F2. Just the gadget, the Twitch drone, it's just not as good as maybe a Thatcher is. So, you know, Twitch is good. High recoil, sort of, and a very high fire rate. So if you get the hang of that, can be a very good operator, but C for me. Vigil right now is the must pick for defense because he is the only really good roamer right now. Since Jaeger is now gone, I think Vigil takes the spot as the #1 roamer in the game. Can't be seen by drones when it is activated and has impact grenades for rotation holes. So Vigil is the play for roaming now on defense. Warden, useless. Even though they made Yang really broken, I just don't think Warden's a good idea. It's only good for countering 2 or 3 operators, so I don't know what they could do with Warden. I think he's a lost cause at this point and always will be useless, so he can just stay down here. And then Zofia, the best versatile player, entry fragging, basically the new Ashe. You have the ACOG, you have an angled grip on the weapon, which makes everything quicker. And it's just a really good weapon and very controllable as well, and has the 2 impacts and 2 concussions. So that's why it's better than Ashe plus the ACOG on the better gun. So I want to know, do you guys agree with this one a little bit more than my last one? I think this one's pretty spot on in my opinion, and I kind of explained these a little bit better now. So hopefully you agree with some of these. Tell me which ones you don't agree with. Did I misspell situational? I don't think so. I don't know. Also, tell me how to spell situationally. So, good situationally, meta, must pick, rare pick, useless. That's how I judge these. I don't judge these like a report card. It's not A to F. Some of these operators can be very, very good, but overall, in general, they're useless, right? So I just wanted to explain that one more time before everyone goes crazy in the comments, and hopefully you agree. Let me know which ones you disagree with, where you change stuff around, and with that, I'll see you in the next one.